time now for our last look ever at polar equations. Yay! Say hi to the folks at home. Polar equations. What? You have to be loud or you won't be heard. Notice we have our friend the graphing calculator up there today because we're going to need him. Polar curve has equation r equals theta plus sine 2 theta for theta between 0 and pi. And I want to do some crazy things with that. I want to find the area between the curve and the x-axis. Want to find the area between the curve and the x-axis. Want to remember how to find area of a polar curve. So it's nice to have a picture, and this is a calculator active question. So what we'll do is we'll go into polar mode and we'll graph it. And luckily for us, we're only going from 0 to pi, and so we get that picture. And that doesn't really look good, so we'll zoom in like I do when I'm looking in your windows at night. And I'll take a picture because it lasts longer, like the pictures I took in your window last night. I'm going to say this for the last time. Just because I sit in your driveway with my binoculars does not make me a stalker. It does not. I spend more time with my favorites. Oh, golly. So here we go. I got my very first email from a parent who said, I watched your video yesterday, and I went, wow, let's not say all the things we normally say. Area between the curve and the x-axis. Dave, what's the integral? That's it. That's it. This thing right here is going to be r. It's 1/2 integral r squared d theta. R in this case is theta plus sine 2. Wow. If you missed that, folks at home, the violent shriek you heard was from Celia. We're not really sure why, and we may never be sure. What happens in an AP class is people bond at a deep level. And so the shrieking happens as we get toward the end of the bonding time. Integrate from where to where? Right. How do we know it's from 0 to pi? How do we know? Exactly. Exactly. The calculator takes care of that. The calculator takes care of that. You throw that in an F and int, and sure enough, like any good cooking show, I'll have that well prepared for you. You've got to know to set up 1/2 integral r squared. You've got to know how to do that. B part. Find theta where x equals -2. By the way, this is a pretty good mock-up of a question that was given a couple of years ago. So these are all kinds of things that the College Board has asked in recent memory. Find theta where x is -2. Well, you got a couple of options. You can say, here's -2 and shoot up to the curve and try to guess what that theta is. Or you could solve some equation that'll tell you where that is. What's the x deal? What's that all about? That's right. X is r cosine theta. Y is r sine theta. I know what r is. R is theta plus sine 2 theta. This, again, is a calculator question. You would go into y1 in function mode. You would throw that in and solve. There are many solutions. You're looking for the one between 0 and pi, and I don't have that. Ask that again, Nicole, while I do this. Uh-huh. No. Won't give you theta. Let's see, we'll add 2. We'll do this between 0 and pi. There it is. There it is. Second calc. Find a 0. Shimmy to the left. Bam. Shimmy to the right. Bam, bam. College Board doesn't care how you solve it, whether by Ouija board or Magic 8 Ball or Divine Revelation. Oh, there it is. There it is. So far, so good, creepy folks at home. What theta makes the curve farthest from the origin on 0 to pi over 2? Curve farthest from the origin on 0 to pi over 2. This goes to Katie J's earlier question about absolute max, because that's what we're looking for here, Katie J. This is an absolute max situation. Here's our graph. No, no, polar. Now I gotta redo the window. Thanks a lot. There we go. So in the first quadrant here, when theta is 0, we're pretty much at the origin. That's not very far. When theta is pi over 2, where is that point? When theta is 0, r is 0. When theta is pi over 2, when theta is pi over 2, what's r? Pi over 2 plus the sine of 2 pi, that's pi over 2. So if we're going to have an absolute max, it's going to happen at the end points or a critical point. How do we find critical points, friends? Take a derivative, set it equal to 0. What is the derivative of r with respect to theta? There it is. Derivative of theta is 1. Derivative of sine theta is cosine 2 theta times the derivative of 2 theta. So what do I have to do? I have to set that equal to 0 and try to solve before time runs out. So the cosine of 2 theta is negative 1/2. This should be fun, gladiators. What's theta? Ooh. 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 So, if we check when theta equals pi over 3, r is pi over 3 plus the sine of 2 pi over 3, which is radical 3 over 2, and that's bigger than pi over 2. So there's your max. Your max happens at theta equals pi over 3. Well, what's that? There's no, well, there is a calculator function. It just takes longer to do than actually knowing the math. Because it's a lot of button pushing. So that's all I can do right now. Let's see. I forget what tomorrow is. I think tomorrow I'm going to try to remind you about sequences and series. I may need 40 minutes for that. We'll see you then.